All right, man, you better get strapped in for this one. I got a good one for you. But of course, like normal, before we get into all of that, I got a handful of things I want to throw your way. So this project I have going on, I grow this organically. So if you like what you hear and it made you think, made you laugh, got you going in some other emotional way, I would love for you to support it by telling a friend or 7. 5-star review, write a review, anything like that, pass it along. That would be awesome. Much appreciated. And of course, anything you need to know about the show would be over at my website, brawpodcast.com. This is one of 2 types of shows that I do within the platform. This is a long version. Got a great guest. She's a stand-up comedian in Sin City. And it goes 60 to 90 minutes. And then on opposite weeks, I go live on Facebook and YouTube, soon to be Instagram and Rumble. That is about 10 minutes of me just throwing out some shit I think you need to hear. Been having a lot of fun with those. And as you know, you can't do everything by yourself. Always great to have some help. These 2 guys and crews to help support this platform. Been working with them for quite a while now, and I use both this product on the regular, both these guys. One is High Speed Daddy. They do tactical baby gear, backpacks, clothing, lunch boxes, and all that good stuff for parenting and a variety of other things. And then, of course, the crew over at Live Rishi. These guys make high-quality CBD product. And again, both these products I've been using for a very long time, and I can't say enough good about them. Links are in the show notes. Check them out, and make sure you give them hell for me while you're over there. And also, who doesn't love a good quote? I do. And I got them piled up here on my desk. I'm not sure what the hell to do with them. And about a month ago, I decided to put a quote in front of each episode that I do and try to, match what's going on. And today is to a T, and it's from my man, Mark Twain. And it goes, against the assault of laughter, nothing can stand. And I agree with that wholeheartedly. Laughter, of course, is the best medicine. All right, goddammit, enough of me rambling. Let's get on to the show. Sadia does stand-up comedy in Sin City, and there's just nothing that would justify an introduction to her, but she got me laughing so goddamn hard. A lot of fun. I know you're going to get a lot out of this, and her idea of a slot machine that teaches you, like, education. I mean, she's got a great idea, but I'm going to let you decide for yourself and let her tell you all about it. Let's get to it. All right, here we go. Now everything you're gonna say is gonna be on the internet.
Okay, duly warned.
Yeah, duly warned. Vegas. We're in Vegas. I'm pretty familiar with Vegas. Where you at?
Downtown?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that's where I'm at.
Oh,
right
yeah?
Now. Uh-huh.
Like Fremont Street downtown?
Fremont is 2 blocks away from me right now.
Oh, I'd be in so much fucking trouble. No, I couldn't be in Vegas full time.
It's like a kid in the candy store. At first, a lot of people are like, "Wah!" But then you're kind of like, oh yeah, that again. I mean, it is cool, but it's not as rare. Yeah. So you don't go quite so
well.
crazy.
I say that too because when I was in Colorado, people are like, "Oh my God, it's amazing, the weather and the scenery," and I'm like, yeah, it was all right. Of course it's beautiful, but like you said, you just get used to it. You know what I mean?
Colorado is beautiful. And they were one of the first states to legalize weed.
Man, I was there when all that happened.
I was here when it got legal here. And it's still, I think I don't smoke, but it's like 1 ounce is all that you're allowed to have. And they're trying to.
What are you going to do with that?
I don't know. But so like you can go to a dispensary and you can buy it, but the growing it is really regulated and you cannot smoke in any of the casinos here. So I just tell people get an edible if that's your thing. I mean,
well, yeah. Well, that, yeah.
Smoke it.
So, but where it's legal to, like in, if you can smoke a cigarette in Vegas, like where you can smoke a cigarette, can you smoke weed?
You can smoke weed in any hotel room, even if a cigarette is legal. To my knowledge, again, I'm no expert, but what I've been told is no weed at all at any time smoking in a hotel room here. Yeah,
I'm with you. Just go with an edible.
If it's an option,
Yeah, that kicks. I got a funny story about that. My got a good buddy. We play a lot of poker, and he's an older gentleman. And we were going to play cards, and he's like, "Hey, are you on?" This is years ago. And he's been smoking and drinking his whole life, so he talks like this. We always pick
Willie
on
Nelson.
him, but yeah,
You were partying with Willie Nelson.
And he's like, hey man, here, try this. I'm like, all right. He's like, you're a big guy, take this much. And I'm like, all right, So we get to the casino, and as you know, I assume it takes a while to click in.
So I've been told. I honestly don't do that stuff.
Okay. And I'm at the poker table, and all of a sudden I go like this. My eyes droop, and I'm just like, what the fuck?
Oh, my God.
I had to go to the bathroom and lean against the cold tile wall for a minute. I was gone. Like,
he kind of overdosed you.
Yeah, it was a little too much.
Mark.
I saw him the other day, and he's like, hey, remember years ago when I did that to you? I was like, oh, fuck, dude, shut up. Oh, Jesus Christ. Yeah, I remember. That's what made me think of it, because he just brought it up not too long ago. I saw him at a game. So
wow.
But you gamble much?
Nope. I got some free play once. I was like, cha-ching. I was like, I don't know. But we need some sane, normal people to run this town.
Nah, that's true. What do you do during the day then?
I work at a casino in the marketing department.
Oh, okay.
It's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And then I do the comedy at night. I put out a comedy album, and now I'm working on a serious album.
What do you mean, like serious? Like
as
serious
opposed
radio?
No, like as opposed to songs about dicks, and as opposed to a song called Your Boner's Not My Problem, or a song called Blue Balls, or a song called Toilet Bowl. I'm writing, more legit, like radio.
So I was looking at your stuff, and I'm like, your boner is not my problem. And I didn't have time to click on it. I got to listen.
Oh no, I'll sing it for you.
All right, let's go so people can get a taste. Ready? 1 and a 2 and a 3.
And hey, the singer usually calls the time, just saying, but appreciated. No, because one time I went to the Virgin Open Mic, and I was going to sing my song, and, I will adapt to whatever. And they're like, you're going to let the drummer call the time. I'm like, I don't give a crap.
Just fuck, tell me. Just point.
So we're going to do it right.
That?
So here we go. Oh, your boner's not my problem, and it's no friend of mine. If you don't stop talking, I'll put it where the sun don't shine. Oh, your boner's not my problem, not my responsibility. Could you please start to talk more politely? That's a taste.
Nice. I like it. So that reminds me of my favorite comedian, Rodney Carrington. You ever hear that dude? You need to look
but I will now.
You definitely need it. He's that kind of. He's got a song that says "Show them to me." He's like, the world would be a better place if you just show them to me. And when you see him in concert, the girls lift up their shirt and put your pants back on and letter to my penis and all that kind of stuff. Classic. Classic.
Damn.
Yeah, I think that'd be right up your.
I'm gonna write this down.
Yeah, Rodney Carrington.
Got my trusty notebook.
That is, then what's the? He's dancing with a man. There's one. God, what's those? Now I'm stuck.
No,
but
I'll look it up.
Yeah, he's.
When
and everybody listening, he's definitely one to check out. He's a great comedian, and he's a raw comedian. He's not for everybody, but he's extremely talented singer and guitar player. So all the
guitar, I'm working on it.
All right, and all the songs that he sings and stuff are basically exactly what you just did. They're all just nasty, dirty joke, basically jokes.
Yeah. Yeah, that's awesome. Thank you for that. I will totally look into that. I've been told I'm like Weird Al, but Weird Al does parody songs and I do original songs. We're a little bit different, but the same kind of vibe, like comedy. Right.
And then same with his, God, what's the one he's really Titties and Beer he's famous for?
That's Vegas, baby.
That's Vegas. I remember when I was in Vegas for a bachelor party, we went to these dueling pianos.
Yep.
and I told a guy give him $20 if they did titties and beer, and I was barbecued at the time. I was out of my skull, and
Did they?
they did it. And then the guy, like, I was walking away, and the guy like ran me down. He's like, "Where's my $20?" I was like, "Oh God,
Oh
sorry,
shit!
bro."
You got to pay him. Okay, that's not good.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it happens. But
Yeah.
you've always lived in Sin City?
No, I grew up in Cincinnati. Believe it or not.
Ah, damn. There's a 180, huh?
Well, yeah. I mean, Cincinnati is. I mean, God bless it. The Queen City. It's a beautiful place. I was living in New York, and I told this cab driver, "Yeah, I'm from Cincinnati." He's like, "Oh my God, you know what, Sadia? If nuclear war hits, I hope I'm in Cincinnati." I was like, "Oh, is there some super secret, NSA?" He's like, "No, it'll hit there 5 years later."
Oh my God, that's beautiful. Oh my God, that's amazing.
Yep. We're so far behind the times, even nuclear war is on a 5.
Dude, it'll hit 500 years later. Cincinnati. That's a good title.
Well, 5 years is how I heard it, but 500 is also nice.
I was going to say I like 500, but
Okay.
there's another thing that
it's cute. We have Skyline Chili. We have Grater's ice cream. Like, there's a lot to like. It's just kind of boring. The way Salt Lake City people say is boring. It's beautiful. Yeah. It's safe. It's nice. It's not Vegas, that's for sure.
No, I mean, sure. I bet you it's a nice place to be and all that if that's your speed.
Yeah,
if you need to go, if you need to go a little faster, probably not.
You want like international, if you want Cirque du Soleil and stuff like that. I mean, that's
right. Is that the type of place that by 9 o'clock everything's shut down and?
Yeah. I mean, I didn't even know people could go out Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday until I moved to New York, because back home everyone's watching TV. Now, to be fair, I mean, we were kids and the parents had to be home. But I was like, wait, you can do stuff on a Wednesday night.
Wow, that's a quote unquote school night. I can go out on a school
night?
night?
You can see a movie, you can see a Broadway show, you can go to a club. What?
Well, New York's like that too. You can do just about anything anytime in New York, but
and no one cares what you wear. I was walking down the East Village. I saw these girls with the piercings, the tattoos, and God knows what she was wearing. I was like, what are her parents going to say? Then I realized her parents are probably on Long Island and have no idea. Like,
sitting on their fancy beach.
You can do whatever you want to do in New York. Just don't hurt anybody. You can wear literally whatever you want to wear, kind of like EDC out here. It's like, good Lord. And in a way, it's nice because now you have infinite possibilities. Whereas back home, it's like, oh, I have to listen to this kind of music because, weird people listen to that music and I got to do this. And if a boy carried my books home from school, everybody knew within a half an hour, that kind of thing.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's with New York. Same with Vegas.
Yeah.
New York, like you said, I've gone there. I'm right across the bridge from it. Doesn't take us long to get to New York. That's what's nice about where we live is we can get to New York quick. Yeah. And I can leave really fast. So that's another.
Let's talk about some of the amazing things about New York. The museums, the cultural stuff. Like, we have a little bit of that in Cincinnati. My art museum is really good. We don't really have a lot of museums. Out west, I've noticed, even LA, they try. The Getty Center, pretty cool. I love going there, but I spend more time outside on the grounds than inside. No, I do go inside, sure. But the Cincinnati Art Museum is pretty cool, and the Cincinnati Zoo is second in the country. So, but New York, it's like you can see Shakespeare in the Park for free if you're willing to wait in line for 3 hours. And I did it.
Yeah,
awesome.
But don't you think that's a historical thing? The East Coast is so much older than the West Coast.
Of course. Yep.
They bring that over and they kind of built it around that to where the West Coast is. I did hear something funny about East Coast and West Coast where the difference between the people. So you got East Coast, you got, no, let's go start with West Coast. West Coast, you got people like, say you get a flat tire. Mm-hmm. They're polite, but they don't give a shit about you. Right? So they'll be like, oh man, I'm so sorry you got a flat tire. And down the road they go, they don't help you. Right? Mm-hmm. We're on the East Coast, like New York. They care about you and they're just rude as fuck the whole time. So you got a flat tire. And they'll be like, wow, what happened, man? You get flat tire? What? You don't take care of your shit here. Let me help you. And they help you the whole time doing it. But they're
smack.
just talking mad shit about you the whole time. Like, don't you take care of your shit while they're turning the wrench, you know?
Yep.
And I thought that was true. You know, I
like that.
Rang true. Yeah.
Well, here's a diss on LA. What's the difference between yogurt and Los Angeles?
Oh, geez.
Yogurt has an active culture.
That. Wait, hold on. I'm going to write that down.
I think I got that from a joke book. I can't say it on stage, but yeah. So, okay, here's my impression of LA. Really beautiful people.
Wait till my wife's from California, so wait till I tell her that.
Is she from Northern Cali or Southern or SoCal?
San Francisco.
Yeah, okay. She'll hate LA. She'll love it. Because San Francisco is actually pretty cultural. I forget what I was going to say. Oh, yeah. So LA has a lot of beautiful people. I mean, I will say that. I would go to some SAG-AFTRA events because I'm in the union. And, oh, my God, it's like a model convention. I mean, the hottest guys, the most beautiful girls. I was like, Jesus Christ. But it never really gets below freezing. And it rains like, I don't know, 7 or 12 times a year. Mm-hmm. I would say that the people in general aren't particularly strong. Whereas if you survive New York City, even for 2 weeks or 6 months or a couple of years like I did, my God, you're going to have some backbone. So, you know, waiting in Starbucks for 10 minutes is not going to ruin my day because I have a life. Breaking a nail is not the crime of the century. You know, it's just a whole different.
It is. I agree with. And I grew up in upstate New York outside of Buffalo. So,
it's cool.
Yeah. And when I went to Colorado, the weather was like that. It was 70 degrees, 75 degrees every day, hardly any rain. When I left in March, I think, February, March. The year before, we had like 312 days of sunshine.
Wow.
Yeah. So people, you know, a good trivia question. So if you pull a win on trivia night with this information, man, you got to give me a shout out.
Okay.
The state with the most amount of days of sunshine.
I would say Nevada. I think we get 360 days. That's my guess here in Vegas.
I was told Colorado.
Bruh, I mean, no disrespect, but it literally rains here 3 days a year for a half an hour each time, and we get 3 feet of rain.
Yeah. Well, that
in like 30 minutes, it'll kill you. It comes
Nevada.
Down so fast.
I just listened to a great podcast about how Las Vegas was built with the mob.
First, it was the Mormons. Okay, first it was the Mormons. Oh, first it was like I guess some Spanish.
Well, who brought the casino?
It's on Mormon land, and to this day, some of those casinos are owned by Mormons.
Really?
So I've been told.
All right.
The mob the prostitution was probably here anyway. And the gambling, the drinking was probably here anyway. They just saw a way to capitalize on it.
Yeah, because they went out there, according to this podcast, they went out there specifically to blow up with gambling and casinos because they saw other casinos around the country and they're like, we need to do that. Look how much money we can skim off the top of this bad boy.
It's so interesting because Howard Hughes, I mean, we don't really know too much about him, but he was like the Elon Musk of his day, just like this total badass. And
that's a great comparison.
Thank you. So he was staying in some Vegas hotel, right? In like the suite. He was the richest guy. And they're like, oh, hey, the mob boss is coming. You got to get out of the suite. He's like, the hell I do. So he called up his accountant. He's like, how much to buy this dump? I'm not ready to move out of my suite. So he bought it. And, you know, he was kind of weird. He's just eating ice cream up in his room. After a couple of days after he bought it, you know, mob boss can't stay there. He goes down to the cashier and they're just counting bags of money. And he's like, whose money is that? And this lady's like, well, sir, you own the casino. This is all yours. He ran to a phone and said, get me 3 more of these things. This is amazing. Like, people put their money in the machine and they only have to win like 1 time out of 50 or whatever it is. And they'll keep putting the money in. And you could see Elvis in a show for like $8. You know, Elvis and dinner for $8. So it's very interesting. Yeah, the amount of money these casinos make is insane.
Yeah, insane. I know I don't have a true comprehension of the amount of money that flows through, like say, the Borgata or not Borgata,
But that's not here. The Bellagio.
Bellagio. Thank you. Can
Well,
you
I'm not there.
imagine?
I work downtown, so we're slightly, we're 4.5 stars. We're not 5 to 7 stars. But what I've seen is really interesting, and I have this idea. So there's just slot machines everywhere, and they make noise, and it's really fun. And forgive me if I compare it to, what your son might play with, Fisher Price, where it makes noise and stuff.
It's about the same thing.
What if we could get Duolingo on a slot machine, and we paid you to actually learn a skill? I think, or if we taught people philosophy or ethics or history or something, because you can gamble for 40 hours, 8 hours a day, 5 days a week, and not have learned anything. But what if we incentivized? I know there has to be some way, because just from what little I've seen, I'm not going to say where I work, okay?
Right.
But people will spend a lot of money to feel important. People will spend a lot of money to get a free meal or a free room.
Of course.
An inordinate amount of money. The room could be going for, let's say, $300. But if you spend $2,000, we'll give it to you for free. There are people that will do that
All day.
just to get the room to feel special and important.
So what are you saying? Like, okay, so I have a 2-year-old son, and if he's got a little toy of some kind, electronic toy, or even
put the square in the
shapes,
square and the circle in the circle. He's learning. And even if it makes noise, if it's like the cow goes moo and the pig goes oink, he's going to spend 4 hours with that thing and learn something.
So what are you saying? Create a slot machine that actually teaches you something?
Yeah.
That's brilliant.
Thank you.
No, well, okay, so people are lazy. That's the.
Well, if they're going to gamble anyway, I would take the gambling out of it. We can keep the randomness in, like pay $10, you can play my machine for 2 hours, and you might win 7 gold stars. Hey, you conjugated 6 Spanish verbs. You get a free meal.
But I can tell you're in marketing. But the thing is, though, do people come to the slot machine like that for escapism? Right? So do they want to go? Do they go there to specifically turn their brain off and just go click, 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 and wait for all the bells and whistles to actually? But
see, when I teach my executives and my adults and the kids, I'm like, bruh, I went to Brazil for 2 years, and I showed up speaking a lot of French and really good Spanish, and I left speaking garbage Spanish and really good Portuguese. You can learn a language without trying.
Oh, just be immersed in it.
Well, or if you're here, just listen to Brazilian music for half an hour a day. Listen to the same songs. So even if you want to turn your brain off, what if we made them identify different songs by the melody or by the lyrics? It can still be super passive, but you can still gain something from the end as opposed to just burning your money.
So are you trying to come up with a concept like that, obviously, to draw more people in, or be a
They're already coming. I'm trying to capitalize on existing behavior and turn it into something slightly more productive. Whether it's learning a language or learning about the Constitution, or, we'll make it fun. We'll make it super passive. You can still smack and bang and bells and whistles, woo! And your odds of winning will be slightly better because it's somewhat, skill-based now. But if you're going to sit in a machine for 6 hours, I'd like you to leave having learned something.
I do. Boy, I like your idea, but something about that just doesn't. If
I made it passive enough, I think people would do it. Pay $20, you get into Sadia's Arcade of Knowledge. It's a 4-hour pass. Okay. And you can play the machines and get your points, and 15,000 points will comp your dinner.
Yeah, people like those points, don't they? Man. I like it.
Teach them
So,
the law. Yeah, I don't know. Teach them. I have a bunch of different machines. We'll see the ones that do the best.
so is this something you're dreaming about or something that's coming down the pipe?
Oh my gosh, no, it's just a dream right now. I am
Oh,
familiar
okay.
with the two slot machines, and I don't know how the gaming commission would do that. Like, they're not gambling. It's like you pay $20 and you get 4 hours and you get to play the machine, but you're not actually gambling. It's skill based.
Yeah, but you are gambling because the better you. No, I guess it is. No, I see.
Well,
What
no,
you're
if I
saying.
played if it was a flat fee, so if you put $10 in the machine and you can win 10,000, that's gambling. But like Chuck E. Cheese or something, like a video game arcade but where you pay a flat fee for a certain number of hours, and they have to all be.
Yeah, but yeah, but okay. So in marketing, going back to that, I like numbers in business as well. How does that work with? Okay, you got 4 machines up front because they do well. People like them, and the payout is minimum. So you're making the most amount of money on those machines. Now you're talking about paying $10 and you get that whole machine for X amount of hours. How's that work financially for the casino, though?
Well, okay. See, I got even bigger. I'm going to open up a whole hotel. I'm going to have my own hotel.
Okay, all right.
Big dreams. Got into Cornell for hospitality management. So this girl's going to learn how to run a hotel.
Okay.
And you know how they have like the Harvard Club in New York? It's a building. And if you're an alum, you can pay a membership fee and you can actually stay there like for a couple nights. So if you're a member of the club, it's like a hotel. So I would have something like that. Like, I'm still kind of working on it, but the schools out here, partly because we're a sanctuary city, we got a lot of immigrants. And I know we don't talk about politics. This is just facts. And our schools are either 49th or 50th in the nation. So there's a lot of room to improve on our education.
So any amount of improvement would be a huge increase.
Yes. And I don't know if it's more towards kids where, do 2 hours on this thing and you get five extra credit points. But there has to be a way to take our love of video games and gambling and actually get something out of it. Because I hear people go on and on and on about the Star Wars movies or sports trivia. I'm like, if you can learn that, why can't you learn more about the Second Amendment? Or why can't you learn about custody? Why can't you learn about a prenup? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I do like the concept. I just think that people are lazy. I don't know. I think they go to
the casinos for the bells and whistles and the chance to win.
I think it's more of the latter. I think it's more of the latter.
I can explain to someone 100 times a day, which I don't do at work, obviously. I'm not going to tell people don't gamble at my casino. But my roommate has heard me. I tell him, I'm like, bruh, if you spend $5,000 and you win $250, I don't think that's really a win. He's
right.
Like, but I won $250. I'm like, bruh.
No. Dude, I talk to people like I love playing poker. Been playing poker a long time. And to me, it's entertainment.
Right.
Okay. So the variance on tournament poker is 70%. 70% of the time you're going to lose.
Wow.
Okay. So people are like, how do you make money doing that? Okay. Well, my idea behind me personally, I'm not here to make money.
Right. It's entertainment.
Right. I'm here to pay for itself. Right. Even if I have to shell out a little bit here and there to keep up, that's fine. But I've been carrying a P&L sheet for my poker since 2008. And I'm still in the black.
Cool.
Right. Overall, longevity.
Right.
Overall. Of course, I got monthlies and weeklies that go in the red, but and I tell people like Vegas, I could go sit at a $250 tournament. Obviously, if I do okay, I can play for 6 hours.
Yeah.
Now in Vegas, spending $250 for 6 hours of entertainment is amazing. Steal. That's a steal.
It is. It is. A Cirque show is a good seat's gonna set you back $300.
Right. And then the slot machines, I don't understand why people play slot machines. I don't get it. I can't.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's bad if that's their entertainment. I don't talk shit about anybody's escapism. If that's what you like to do and that's your entertainment, cool. But I just, whoo, man,
We have slot machines at the grocery stores,
and the
at
gas
gas
station,
stations.
everywhere, right?
Yeah, and I was kind of horrified at first, being from the Midwest and all. One of my friends was like, Sadia, that's where the ladies park their husband for $5 or $10 to just amuse him so he's not buying crap, not asking questions. You ladies know how to grocery store. But the man's going to be like, I want Fruity Pebbles. I want Cocoa Puffs. It's just easier to park him there. It's like,
It's like a daycare, right?
Yeah, it is.
All right. I get that. But so a buddy of mine, we're at a casino. Like you said, we don't need to name names or anything, but we were playing in a poker tournament and we were waiting for it to start. And he goes, "Hey man, I saw this TV show and it was like Bar Rescue. You ever hear of Bar Rescue?"
I think so.
The guy goes in, and of course it's all drama and dramatic. He goes in and is like, "You're doing this wrong and you're doing this wrong."
I saw that with the girl.
Yeah, and they
might have been a guy.
They say what to do to make your bar successful.
Yep.
Well, I guess it was the same. I didn't see it. This is my buddy telling me about it. He goes,
okay,
same theory. But then they start explaining like the carpet on the casino floor. Do you know why it's gaudy looking and nasty?
Why?
Not nasty as in like dirty, but like you look at it and it makes you uncomfortable because they want your eyes. They want your eyes up and looking at the machines, not looking down at the floor. That's why all those crazy patterns are on the rug. Right?
No way.
So
I like looking at the rug, but I'm not drunk. So,
but the thing is, though, it doesn't make sense until somebody tells you that. Now you're going to go to the casino and you're going to be like, "Oh God, man, he's right. What the fuck? That thing is right." And then he goes, "Check this out," and we get in a slot machine. This is what made me think of it because we're talking slot machines.
Okay.
I put $20 in.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, bet, right? And I bet $1, right? Or whatever it was. So we'll just make the math easy. So I click it to $1 and it spins and I win something. And this fucking thing lights up like it's the 4th of July.
Yep.
Wee, yeah. Win. All that's right. He goes, now look, dude, I won 50 cents. He goes, so now it's playing on your dopamine and your emotions. That spin cost you $1. But then that thing lit up
50 cents at the end because you
at
won.
the end. But the thing is, you lost 50 cents. But the machine gave you the emotion that you were this big winner, and you're like, yeah, I won, and you keep playing, and next thing you're like, where'd all my money go? It was great. I put $20 more in because we were doing it. We're like, bing, 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 and it was every spin, not every spin, but it was. Yeah, exactly. And then I was like, we got to do that again. And then I hit one that, $1 and it paid out like $17. And I was like, okay. And he goes, watch, you won't hit another thing for like 20 something spins. And that's when I put in another $20. I'm like, I got to see this through. Right? Because now it paid 17. So now it's got to get its money back and make money. So now it won't pay out for another $19 or $20. And I was like, holy shit. Geez.
Well, if it's entertainment, like you said, I talk to a lot of tourists because I'm just that way. I'm always chatting with people everywhere. And the smart people are like, $20 a day, that's my limit. I do my $20, I get up and I go do something else. But some people get addicted, and you should not be gambling the rent. You should not be gambling your grocery money. They look at it as sort of like this universal test. Like, does God love me? Does God not love me? Let me throw all my money. I'm like, no, my God, no. Like,
so
don't tempt fate.
Yeah. And when I learned, because I knew all the old school games, like stud and, just the old card games, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then when Hold'em got real popular, gentleman, he was a semi-pro. I went to his house a couple nights a week for months. and we'd be on the computer, and he would show me. He'd be like, "Okay, position, and this is how you bet, and da 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 da."
Oh my
da,
gosh!
Right. So I got a hand up on that, but most important, he showed me how to control a bankroll, and that's where the P&L sheet comes in.
Yeah.
Because
if
you got it written down, and you're like, "I can't play this month," and I wouldn't play, and, or I would lower my stakes, build up my bankroll, go back and forth. But that's controlled. That's helped me keep it under control where it's not rent money. It's not,
Yep. Because you're being rational about part of it. Like, like the people with $20 a day. I brought 5 20s. I'm here for 5 days. This is my Monday 20, my Tuesday 20, But it's interesting. I met this comic, and he was apparently a big gambler. So comedy, as long as you're 21, anyone can do it. The open mics, you show up, they'll put you on stage. Well, this guy apparently was making $50,000 bets at the Aria because another one of the comics was a dealer, and he was telling us, but I don't think it was a closed loop, right? I think the dealer comic would see this the 50K guy, but I don't think the 50K guy put it together that the dealer was also a comic, if that makes sense.
Yeah. I followed you along.
So, yeah. And that's a lot of money. Comics, Wise Guys doesn't even have a $5 cover if you perform. That's kind of what we're dealing with. And it's kind of tragic. So this guy making these big bets, he was a bit of a personality. He wanted to debate me, and I had no desire to debate him, but he was putting money in people's hands, asking them to host a debate with me, like giving a comic $50. And so I stayed away from comedy for a while until one day I showed up. People said, "Oh yeah, he hasn't been around. It's okay. You can come back." And then I'm waiting outside the club one night, and apparently he got stabbed.
What?
In a game.
Oh.
And did not make it. Like, that was the end of him.
So what? He was in like a poker game?
I don't know who he was playing or what was said or what happened. This is all rumor, but no one has seen him. And somebody said, yeah, that's what happened to him.
Damn, he got going in a poker game or in some kind of game.
He might have been playing with Russians or drug dealer. Like, I don't know. I don't know.
And like you said, a personality like that, he's probably talking shit to some people, talking shit to the wrong guy, and he went out to his car and.
I don't know if it was at the table. Like, I don't know. I don't have all the details, but gambling will kill you.
Oh yeah. Oh, I've seen. So I worked in the bars and restaurant and peeler bar stuff for years and years and years, and I saw so many people go down. I almost went down that road too. Just with drugs and gambling and just what a black hole to go down, and girls coming into the bar to dance. And I saw from a woman would come in because my buddy owned a couple peeler bars out in Colorado, and I was helped with security. And the girls would come in and they're like, "I'm here for 6 months." And sometimes I would go, "Okay, 2 years from now, you're still going to be here." That kind of thing. Right.
When you say dance, do you mean like on
stripper.
A pole?
Yeah. Okay. Strippers. I call them peeler bars. And
I don't understand. Okay. I was confused.
Yeah. Strip joints. And there was girls that came in, solid business. They were supposed to, because the thing is, the bars that I worked at, I'm pretty sure the whole industry is this way, but you rent the stage kind of like a hairdresser rents a chair.
A booth. Yeah. Okay.
A booth, right? So she would accumulate time. If it was 8 to 10, 5 to 8, she'd walk in. 10:01, she was leaving.
Yeah.
And she carried herself very professional and did all that. 4 months, she was gone. And a couple years later, I see her at the bar, and she was in the military at the time. She goes, "No, I was doing this to pay for my school." She goes, "I'm getting my master's and stuff and being a doctor and all that. She goes, I did that just so I seen that part. And then I seen the other one where they come in, they like that rush of money, and they're always, it's like a drug addiction. You're always chasing that high that you first got.
Yeah. Well, and when guys are throwing money at you and they want to see you after work or whatever, yeah, I can only imagine.
So you'll love this. So you're familiar, obviously you're familiar with Reno and Atlantic City.
Yes.
Okay. So I look at these three cities. I compare them so Vegas is the young, super attractive woman. Everything's in the right spot. The tattoo is fresh and new. You know what I'm talking about? She's gorgeous, all that. Reno is her older sister. The tattoo's a little worn out. Things aren't supposed, gravity's checked in a couple times, things aren't where they're supposed to be. In Atlantic City's their mom. That's how I compare those three cities.
Well, I've never been to Reno. I think I went to Atlantic City as a kid. There's a lot to do here. One thing I want to say is prostitution is not legal within Las Vegas or Paradise, which is technically where the strip is. You got to go to Pahrump. You got to go to Chicken Ranch. It's legal.
It's not legal. It's not legal, but it happens. Come on.
But no, okay. So I was talking to one of the comics because I wrote a song. I wrote a song for Wise Guys. I wrote them a theme song, and then I wrote a song about Chicken Ranch because I got up on stage and I said, you know what? This is what I've noticed. Elon Musk, Bezos, and the Virgin Atlantic guy Branson, they get their billions of dollars and they all try to go to outer space. Well, isn't that cute? You know what I would do if I had $1 billion? I'd round up 5,000 of the horniest incels, those involuntarily celibate guys, put them on my private jets, and fly them out to Chicken Ranch and get them laid. Now they're no longer incels. Now, first, they get 1 hour with the hot porn star of their choosing, but they also have to talk for an hour with like the 40 to 60-year-old madam that's been there, done that, and seen it all. They can learn something. They want the hot babe, but what they really need is the madam. And then they're not horny, and then they'll quit doing terrorism. So thank you. You're welcome. I solved terrorism.
I like that. So you get them with the hot broad to cool them down, and they're all calm. And then you got the madam giving them the shit, right?
Hey, they're called involuntarily celibate. So let's get them laid and calm them down. How hard is that? We don't need to go to outer space.
So you put them in somewhere like that with an experienced woman. They don't stand a chance. I don't care how religious you are.
It's not war. So one of the comics who shall go nameless. So I wrote my Chicken Ranch song, bok, 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 bok. It's not, they've got a nice place to put your cock. Chicken Ranch, bok, 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 bok. It's a great little song. And it talks about Bezos and Musk and the incels and everything. Okay. So one of the comics who's my friend, he's like, Sadia, there's two different kinds of prostitutes. Because at Chicken Ranch, they're courtesans. And they don't use that term lightly. These girls have studied. Okay, they're not just some broke chick that's like, well, I guess I can sell, what I got between my legs. No, apparently he went out there and experienced one of them. And he said, it's a night a guy will never forget.
No shit.
She's classy, but anything that you want, even stuff you never even thought of, she's highly trained. So she'll do everything you want, and she'll have some ideas, and it'll set you back about $1,200. I said, okay, so I guess the opposite would be going down to Boulder Highway and picking up some girl for $5. And he's like, you just kind of get it done. But I have a lot of respect for those girls. I couldn't do it.
Absolutely. No.
Study, and it's all about customer service. So, you have to treat the lady well. It's not some bad porn movie where, you pay, you get to treat her like crap. No, she's a professional. She's a lady. You're going to get what you want, but you're going to be nice to her. So some of these sad, lonely, porn addicted, ugly, fat, never been to a gym, eating Doritos, whatever, let's get them out to Chicken Ranch.
Yeah. I didn't know they were like that all trained and stuff. I thought they were the other way. It's like, I ain't got nothing else to do. And maybe the madam put them through a little class or something. But they got some.
No. And they don't even get to stay there forever. Like they cycle them out. It's like this one will be here for 2 weeks, and this one will be here for 2 weeks, and you can sign up. And if you book a party with one of the girls, they'll send a car for you in Vegas if you put down a deposit.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Anything, right? For money.
Well, yeah, but no, they will come fetch you.
Oh, see. How far away is it? Like travel time?
90 minutes, I think. An hour, 90 minutes, something like that. Not far, but kind of far.
Can you imagine the anticipation? They come and get you in a car.
The girl's not in the car, okay? Nothing happens in the car.
Yeah.
Nothing happens in the car.
Now, is that the legal thing because of like the county that it's in and stuff like that? Because it's still in the state of Nevada, right? It's still the state.
Yeah, still in the state, but it's probably a county decision. And I tell people, why risk talking to an undercover cop? Now, I'm a smart aleck. Okay, so when I moved out here, some of the guys I know, they're like, Sadia, I have to have a serious conversation with you. And I was like, oh my God, you're pregnant. He's like, well, no. I'm like, you're gay. He's like, no. I'm like, I'm pregnant. He's like, no. But this is what they told me. They're like, Sadia, there's only one proper response, and you need to take this seriously because I don't want your ass going to jail because you're a smart aleck. So if you think some guy is soliciting you, you can't say only in your dreams. You can't say more than you can afford. The only thing you can say is loudly and clearly, I'm not a prostitute. Because if a cop rolls up on you, he's like, hey, baby, you're kind of cute. How much? And if I say $800 million, bam, I'm going to jail because I just put a price on it. If I say, I'm sorry, sir, I'm not a prostitute, I'm safe. So I try to tell all the girls, because you know us with our New York attitudes. No. Yeah. You think some guy is getting weird. Now, if he asks you out to dinner, you don't have to go psycho on him, of course. But if you think it's getting into for 500, can I do this? I'm like, sir, I'm not a prostitute. I'm not a prostitute. I'm not a prostitute. Get away from me. I'm not a prostitute. And then don't be one, obviously.
I told my buddies all the time we spent in Vegas because it was a round trip airfare from Colorado for $70 from Thursday to Sunday.
What was it, Spirit?
It was Allegiant at the time. I think Spirit bought them, but it was Allegiant at the time. I go, if a woman asks you to go out or hook up, she's a prostitute. I go, you're a fat, lonely dude playing fucking $100 poker tournaments. This hot broad don't want nothing to do with you, buddy. Just, it's a prostitute. Don't get involved. Because the same thing that your friend told you, I'm like, don't get involved. Because back in the day when we used to go to Vegas, the X-rated version, we would do that to our friends. We would go and solicit a woman and like send her to his hotel room and shit. Because I used to go out and play like hockey and stuff and different type tournaments and all that. Mm-hmm. So we knew where all our teammates and friends were staying and what room numbers and shit. So we would, and of course we picked the ugliest woman that we could find, and the most desperate woman.
Nice.
It was not. It wasn't cool. I'm not saying that I condemn that kind of behavior, but
that you condone.
Condone. I'm sorry. Condone that. I do condemn it. Yes. Thank you.
Freudian slip.
Coming from an English teacher. But yeah, we used to do that kind of thing. One thing I did a lot of. So I would go play. I would go to play poker. So I would land, and I wouldn't even get a hotel room. I would just have a backpack, and I'd go, and then I would find a homeless person. I'd stop at the liquor store and get a 6-pack and a handle. So I'd have a big bottle of booze and a 6-pack of beer, and I would talk to a few homeless people until I felt good about one, and I would actually sit down with them. I would take their sign and I would hold up their sign and him and I would drink and I'd have him like tell me his story and we would just bullshit. And
wow.
Mental health is most of the people I talk to, they lost all their shit at once and their brain melted and they just couldn't handle anything.
Something happened with the economy. Or I don't know. It's 7 mistakes cause a plane crash. This guy Malcolm Gladwell analyzed plane crashes, and 7 things have to go wrong. Yeah, it was really interesting. He wrote this book called The Tipping Point, was all the rage a few years ago. And it might be in that one or in one of his other ones, but he writes these chapters, right? So you don't have to read 500 pages on this crap. But apparently there was a really bad plane crash in like South Korea. And so they had to study all these plane crashes. And Korean, like Spanish and French and German, has two forms of you, the formal and the informal. We're Americans. Man, I'll tell Joe Biden your fly's open. Like, I don't care. We don't care.
Right.
But in the more formal languages, it's so ingrained. When the junior pilot sees, stuff that's going to lead to a crash, he couldn't tell the senior pilot because it would be disrespectful. So they taught everybody English, because then in English, we're just loud and obnoxious. We don't have that hierarchy. So it couldn't offend anybody. But 7 things have to go wrong for the plane to crash.
Oh,
and I guess 7 things have to go wrong for your brain to melt, right? Your dog dies, your wife leaves you, your truck crashes, you get laid off, you lose all your stuff. Like, you can count it. But yeah, it was so fascinating. So 7 things going wrong is probably all the human brain can handle.
Huh. Yeah, the last guy I spoke with, his wife and 2 daughters got hit head on by a tractor trailer.
That's a lot.
Gone. He didn't like come right out and say certain things, but as he's talking, because he's mumbling and
right.
But it didn't take him long because that stuff doesn't instantly happen, right? So I assume he had a job.
First you lose, the wife and the kid, and you're grieving and you're crazy, and I'm sure the job didn't want to deal with it.
Then you can't pay your rent, and then you can't buy food, and then
and then
so maybe that's maybe that's the 7 things, right? So the first thing is the incident, whatever that incident may be.
Yep.
Right, and then you lose your income.
Well, but then you lose, your best friend and your kids. I mean, that's a lot. I'm going to count that as 3. And then you're freaking out at work, and I don't know how he acted out. Was he drinking? Did he get violent? Did he withdraw? Did he just not go to work? But something was wrong. So that's 5. And then you're evicted and you lose all your shit. Yep, that's 7.
Done. Gone. In my job years ago, it was a couple years before I started in my position, there was a gentleman that his daughter at 16 was kidnapped, and a lot of bad things happened to her.
Did she survive?
These two guys did a lot of bad things to her, and then put her in a fucking wood chipper over the creek, over the river. Yeah. Right? So he, rightly so, fucking lost it, right? So then he gets it back together, kind of, right? With support and, there's all that. Then he had to go to court when they had these guys going through court to sentence him. Fucking loses it. They find his work truck parked somewhere. He's nowhere to be seen. Like 5 days later, they find him underneath a porch in a neighborhood, completely naked, just mumbling to himself. A porch that, like a stranger, guy comes out on his porch, is like, what's that fucking noise? Looks under there, and there's a grown ass man completely naked, mumbling to himself.
We don't do enough for men's mental health. I'm going to slightly pivot. I'm not a guy, never have been a guy, never identified as a guy. You're sometimes be damned. But I think, so I don't know if you want to talk about my TED Talk at all, but I talk about some of the horrible things that my family did to me. And one of the main reasons I did it is because, bad stuff happening to girls, people understand it occurs, right? No one thinks that they know anybody, but it's not too far out there. But just kind of, I guess, my vibe, I've met straight guys that were abused by men when, the guy that I'm talking to was a child. And that is a really hard situation to deal with. You're a straight guy, you get abused by a guy, you're a kid. Like, that is so far off people's radar. Yeah. So I got up and talked about my dad to push the envelope, to try to be like, hey, it's me, it happened, I'm still here, I'm pretty normal, I'm pretty awesome. But I did it in the hopes that it would help some of the men to come forward. Because I don't know any guy, straight guy, I mean, it shouldn't matter. But if you are straight and you're abused by a guy, your brain, I don't know exactly, but it really confuses you because your body sneezes. This is what they tell the rape survivors and the incest survivors. Your body's going to sneeze. You know, you don't have to like what is happening to it, but your body, it doesn't know. It doesn't shut down.
Right.
If you're a straight guy and you're getting abused by a guy, your body's going to react. You didn't want it. You didn't like it. You don't like guys. And no one's really getting into that. I mean, it's only tangentially related to what you brought up. But if there's anything I can do to help men's mental health, sign me up, man, because too many guys are killing themselves and going crazy because they don't know how to ask for help because we have no framework for the kind of stuff that they get handed. Like that poor guy lost his wife and his kids in one day. Was the wife doing the laundry? Do you know how to cook? You know?
Well, no. Those are, and it's not even that, the physical stuff, right? It's I call it the, it might sound cold, but you'll get my point, is the warm body scenario. Okay. Like in the morning, I'll wake up, 4 o'clock in the morning, and then I lean over and here's the warm body of my wife, or she'll know that I'm stirring and she'll come stick to me like a dryer sheet. And what that does to your psyche, what that does to you mentally is amazing, right? It's like a dopamine hit. You're like, oh my God, this is amazing. Okay, now in a flash, that's gone.
Well, and the other thing is, sorry, go ahead.
But you're a man, so you should be able to handle that.
What?
I agree, but that's the thing.
Well, it's interesting because they did studies on couples. And once you've been together for like 6 months or a year, each person intuitively hands the task to the one that's better at it. So one of you will always remember where the car is. And one of you is always going to remember the funny stories. And one of you is going to always remember what dish you like. So when you get divorced or someone dies or some tragedy, you lose half your life. Because as a team, organically, they studied all kinds of couples. And the couple kind of figures it out. Well, he's more organized than me, so I'll let him deal with the organizing, and I'll do this thing that he's not very good at. So that's the other part. Like, you truly are a team. It's like losing a limb. Because when I live, well, I have a roommate, but I'm basically alone, and I have to do everything. But if I had a guy, a boyfriend or a husband, that's what couples do. It's like the secret sauce of the relationship. And maybe she made you coffee every morning, and maybe you did the dishes or whatever. And suddenly you just have to confront everything all alone. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I get it. And there's the mental health part of it I've been digging into, and thank God for my wife. She sounds
amazing.
Yeah, she supports me a lot in that, because I grew up, you stamp that down, because that's what a man does. You just fucking handle your business and move on, Well,
it's crazy because the feminists, it's so weird. So Malcolm Gladwell, rambling on about him again, he's some kind of social anthropologist. And he looks at trends, and his first book was like, well, what makes a trend trendy? And there's the people that adopt it, and then these people adopt it, and then it becomes huge. Well, the feminists, okay, I want to be careful how I say this. In the past, any group that was considered to be marginalized, the first thing the feminists did is they wanted to be men. They wanted the power. They cut their hair short in the 80s. They wore the shoulder pads. They want the big money. I'm going to be the man. But they still also wanted to be the woman. So I get to cry. And when the man was like, oh, cool, equal rights, now I have emotions, the women were like, absolutely not.
Yep.
They wanted all the power.
Yep.
And then so it used to be that the man would confide his emotions into his wife. So she would kind of help him deal with stuff. But then this feminism crap came along. I mean, I believe we needed it to come. I'm not anti-feminist, but when the wife's at home, making the house pretty, she has nothing to do all day except make dinner and be pretty and, go to some social events. And she was there to take care of her man. But now they're both outside working. No one's raising the kids. Yay, we have equal rights and sexual harassment laws and all this great stuff. But Jesus Christ, we have to somebody has to let men have emotions because they do.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And there's, and you might have a buddy or two, but in general, you bring that shit up, your buddies, because they don't want to deal with it either, because they're like,
Well, they don't know how. And I see
that's
this a lot with what was happening to me as a kid. I'm 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 14. It would never occur to me to go to a grown up and talk about what my dad's doing to me. You tell your friends, and they're not trained psychologists.
No.
Like, what the hell are they, if you even can find the words, no, whatever. So we need to come a long way in terms of mental health. I wish we had a universal safe word. In my TEDx talk, I say, look, life is going to suck sometimes. Nightmares, bad memories, getting triggered, shitty people, whatever. Give the universe 24 hours to make it right. So what I do is I shake my fist at the sky and I announce the time. It is 6:02 p.m. and this is Wednesday night, universe. I'm putting you on notice. I need help. Some shit's got to get fixed. And you have to reach out to 3 people. Post on Facebook or on Instagram, hey man, I need help, having a bad day. And then wait 24 hours. Because no matter how bad it seems, give the universe time. You do matter. Now, I've got the IRS on me. Cornell wants some kind of deposit. Like, I'm in. They gave me a scholarship. I got my funding. They're like, no, you need $1,500 by the end of the month. I'm like, can't pull it out of my butt, But whatever it is, the rent's due, the bill's going to collections. I don't have any food. That was my situation once. I didn't have any food. I was hungry and terrified. But I reached out to 3 people. One of my friends was a nurse, and she was always posting on Facebook, if anyone, anywhere, anytime needs help, call me. And I messaged her, and I was like, I don't know what to do. I have no money and no food. And she was like, I'm sending you money.
Got it. Yeah. No, I agree with that, because I've been on both sides of that, to where I'm flat broke, can't eat, no prospect of money, nothing like that. And then I've been on the other side where I've had fuck you money.
Somebody.
Well, but I've had fuck you money, right? To where money was not even an object.
Gotcha. Okay.
Right.
So,
but I remember those times. So then that's when I kind of put feelers out. Hey man, you ever need something? And people would reach out to me, and there were some people that tried to take advantage of that. And I'm like,
of course,
move along. But the handful of people did reach out.
So even if you can't help with money, even just listening, I mean, it was bad. Like, I posted people to contact and I taped it on my bathroom door. Like, I'm not going to get too into it. I don't want to give people ideas, but I was hours away from just quitting and just giving up. And this little voice was like, you made it this far. Just ask 3 people for help.
That's awesome.
Wait a fucking day. And I was like, well, but I was literally like, yeah, okay, because it's hard. And we don't want to look weak, and we don't want to admit that we're not perfect. There are people that will make fun of you when you're down. I think they're narcissists. But find the good people and just be a good person. If all you can do is listen, that helps.
100%.
If you have money, spend money. I do comedy, and there was this one comic who shall go nameless. But there's this older guy, and there's all different kinds of comedy. I tell people it's not funny because I laughed. It's funny if anybody laughed. So there's comics that I don't really like their style, but they get a ton of laughs and they're good. So this guy's a bit of an unusual flavor. And this one comic who used to host started telling him to go kill himself. And I lost my shit. You should never say that to anybody.
Not even joking.
Yeah. I mean, okay, the child rapist, that's a different story, but not someone that you can see who can hear you, And I spoke up about it. I was like, oh, hell no. I called the club manager. I'm like, are you aware that this is going down? You have a whole club to manage. I don't expect you to hear everything that comes out of everybody's mouth. But I heard a story in LA. It was at like this lunch, and people were just talking about stuff. And this lady had a guest house, and she had friends staying with her. And the couple, and they got into a huge fight. And they were like older-ish, like 40s. And the wife was like, I'm leaving. Like, I'm going to divorce you. And he said, if you walk out that door, I'll kill myself. And she said, I hope you do, and slammed the door. And he did. And so I'm hearing it, kind of secondhand from the girl who lived in the big house. And the wife could not forgive herself. The wife was like, I never thought he'd do it. I'm like, lady, words are important. Instead of, I hope you do, say, I'm really angry at you right now. I need to calm down, but you're important. You matter to me. I'm triggered. I'm hungry. I'm angry. I'm not leaving you forever, which might be all that she meant. I'll be back in 30. I don't like who I am right now. I love you and I'm being a bitch. But oh my God, and that just, and then, what? Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, as bad as that is, now, you shouldn't tell. No, absolutely not. You should not fucking tell anybody that, especially in a midst of anger. But that dude needs to have a little bit of personal responsibility for that.
I don't know what the whole argument was or what.
Yeah, I mean,
no, wait, but hold up. Men kill themselves when they lose their jobs. That is the number one reason for men.
Because they can't provide. So now what good are you?
Well, you're good for so much more than that.
Well, I agree. That I agree. But you lose your mate and you lose your job. Those are the two most important. Well, obviously kids too. But those things are important, quote unquote, to a man. Right? So now if I lost my job and this is the level of comfort that my wife or partner has had for many years and now I can't provide that for them, it fucks you up here. I've been in those positions.
Well, but then this is where the feminism comes in. Like, I can get a job. Okay, honey, you lost yours. We're a team. I'll carry the load. That's what feminism looks like.
Wait a minute. Feminism is not, you're the fucking man, you should provide for me? What?
No.
I just gotta. But
that's the other side. Women can't have all the power. Everybody wants to have all the power. I want to be able to cry and be the woman and be the man too. It doesn't work that way.
No.
Men can have emotions. Women can get a job. It's not that hard, but it can be scary because it's new.
Well, and going back, my wife, she's a rock, and the biggest stride that I have made, and I hope this, going back to what we were talking about, I hope that one person hears this and is like, no shit, let me try that.
Yeah.
Is when somebody pays me a compliment. I have the thought, my original thought is like, and then I deflect with humor.
Okay.
That was my old way.
Mm-hmm.
Now my wife brings to my attention, this is years of her helping me, is with me not recognizing you giving me a compliment, I'm taking away from you.
Yeah. Yeah.
So if you give me a compliment, now I'm comfortable enough to say, man, thanks. I appreciate that. And mean it.
So let me put specifics on this because we're trying to help people. I'll give the girl version, then the boy version. So you see my dress. It's kind of cool, right? If someone's like, oh my gosh, your dress is so pretty. I love it. If I'm like, oh, this old thing. I've insulted the person. I'm trying to be humble, but I just made that person feel stupid, which is not what we're going for here. So, Sadia, I love your dresses. Oh my gosh, thank you so much. That means a lot to me. I found it at Ross. And did you know I looked through, I spent 25 minutes trying to find it in my size because I loved it too. Oh my God, we're so cool. Right. So that's the girl version. The guy version, I guess, would be like, I don't know what guys compliment each other on, but hey man, you're really funny. Oh, thank you so much. That means a lot to me. How hard is that? Not, oh my God, I'm not funny at all. You're an idiot. That's what I think most guys.
Well, it's fuck you, dick. Whatever.
Really?
Yeah. Damn. It's more of that. It's, but the thing is, you got to take little steps. And the other thing too is I live in an immensely blessed life.
You live in Joyzy.
Yeah.
Right?
But I live a blessed life. I have an amazing life. I have, and it took me a long time to tell people that, because I thought if you say, man, it must be nice, that's amazing, look at your life, you have this and you have this. My first reaction is like, oh, yeah, thanks. Because I didn't want to be in the man thing. I didn't want to like puff my chest out and be, yeah, look at me kind of thing. It's like, no, okay, thanks. But no, now it's like, fuck, yeah, you're goddamn right I do. Thanks. Yep.
And I worked hard for it. That's what I always say.
And every day I work hard for it. Right? Absolutely. So
people
now I'm like,
Sadia, you do comedy and you have an album and your producer won a Grammy. And occasionally I tell my friends, yeah, this band is like now my fan. Pretty cool. Brah, I've worked really hard for it. Like, I mean, I'm not saying you can have exactly what I have, but if you put yourself out there, that's kind of the scary part. I joke, lawyers go to law school, accountants get their CPA. What do actors and comics do? We pray. It's like there's no comedy school. You can't graduate with a PhD in comedy and get a Netflix special. You just keep doing it.
Yeah, and you get thrown right in the mixer, and you get spit out.
And my advice to my younger self would be, if someone's an asshole, I don't care who they say they know, run. Don't waste your time, because that's the bait. They're like, oh, I know this. And even if they actually do, they're the asshole. So the asshole is bringing you, and you're probably an asshole too. So just, it's not worth it.
That's a good way to
find good people. Good people. Run from bad people.
Speaking of that, that's the phrase I tell my son. I said, kindness is a superpower.
It is.
You should always be kind, because you never know what somebody. You should always be kind, because you never know what somebody's going through. Okay,
unless you invade my personal space, then all bets are off.
Well, my last sentence for that.
Okay,
so
sorry.
That's okay. You never know what somebody's going through, and if they're being mean to you, that's on them. That has nothing to do with you.
Right.
But every once in a while, you gotta let a motherfucker know.
Yeah.
You can't be a doormat either. So
yeah, be kind until you're trying to do stuff I don't want you to do to my person.
Yeah, that's it. And I got a shirt that I little shameless plug, but I got a shirt that I sell that it says practice violence in the gym and kindness.
Gym? I like that. I think I need one.
Practice violence in the gym and kindness everywhere else.
I like that.
Yeah, that's my that's what I live by.
Yeah, well, you do have an amazing life, and you've worked really hard for it.
Thank you.
And recognizing that your life is amazing just shows people that they can have it. I have a friend, Natasha. She's amazing. She posts the most amazing things on LinkedIn. And I think she or someone else said, if you see it, it's because it's already in you.
Oh, I like that.
So then I'm like, wow, I hope I write a song that like changes someone's life or gives someone hope, or, well, my Dick song, which I know you haven't heard, but let me sing it for you real quick. Dicks, there's lots of different dicks. Some are short, some are thick, some are teeny tiny, but don't get whiny. Dicks, there's lots of different dicks. Some are curvy and some are straight. Some might be gay, but that's a song for another day. Hey. Dicks, we're talking lots of different dicks. Some are short and some are thick, but listen up, man. No matter what dick God gave to you, you have hands and a mouth. Just use them too. I've had guys come up to me after that. Whoa, my hair's going crazy. A couple guys have come up to me and said, I love you. Thank you for that song. And the whole idea is, guys, even if God gave you this, like, you can still get a girlfriend. You can still make her happy, hands and mouth, get the Kama Sutra, read all about it. Most women don't care how we get there. Nope. Just saying. I like guys with accents, but I don't always date foreigners, okay? Very few things are non-negotiable. That was my attempt at helping men's mental health. I
had a joke back in the day. It is true, though. I think so much pressure is put on that, like height. Like I had a good buddy of mine, really short guy, and he was so conscious about it. I said, "Man, just be yourself and have your personality speak for that."
Tell him I once got dumped for being taller than the guy. He was like, "You're amazing. I want to marry you, but I don't want to marry a girl who's taller than me." Now,
Oh,
fortunately, he was a jerk, so I was about to dump him anyway.
yeah.
I said, "Oh, well, this is going to be the easiest breakup ever because I was just about to break up with you." And then he got all butthurt. How on earth could you dare break up with me?
How could
I was
you
like,
get rid of
"I'm
me?
too tall for you. You don't need to know why." I just
Yeah.
left.
Next. But yeah,
like,
that's
I'm too tall for you. Whatever.
but the thing is though, people put so much weight on that stuff. Of course, I did too growing up. You know, as I got older, I got mature, and I don't think about that stuff anymore. But
it's like the ugly size of a guy. You know, I've noticed if a guy is 6'4", all the other guys are going to kind of look to him to be the leader, and they're
sure.
going to do what he says.
Oh, that's his DNA talking there. That has nothing to do with society. That's just raw.
Really?
Oh yeah, that's just raw fucking.
So if there's 100 guys and they range from 5'2" to 6'4", the 6'4" guy's the automatic leader. No matter how big he might be?
But the thing is, though, there might be one or two guys in the crowd that can have a personality that can take that and run with it, right? But in the old, Viking days and shit like that, the big dude, man, usually, because he's big, right? I mean, who you gonna fuck with him? You're gonna question what he says, But that's the thing that. Sure, we talked about feminism and how our culture's changed and things like that. But one thing that you can't get rid of quickly, and I'm not talking hundreds of years or even decades or anything like that, is what is in our DNA.
Well, I think a lot of it, though, comes from television. I'm going to rant about the Big Bang Theory. I've watched a lot of that show on YouTube. And... Right. I hate the way they portray women. So you have Penny, the beautiful one, and she's like the star.
She is hot.
And then there's Bernadette, and then there's Amy. But the way they wrote the female characters interacting with each other is so unrealistic. And Penny is like the top dog, as it were, because she's so beautiful. I'm like, that's not really the way it works for us. Guys clearly wrote this. But it starts off as like a minor kind of thing, but then it's bombarded with us through the culture and the TV shows and the songs and everything. And it's not always very healthy. The whole short king thing. This girl on Insta was just popping in guys' random live feeds and being like, "Love you, short king." The guy could be 5'10", 6'2". She didn't give a shit. She just kept writing it. And guys would get so offended when they saw that in their live Insta. They would stop whatever they were doing. It's like, here, I'm doing 500, blah, blah. What? Short king?
Well, oh man, see, and that doesn't make sense to me. Okay, I've always been.
You're married, so you don't have to fight that battle. You found.
Yeah, but I fought that battle for a long time. I have had the advantage of size, right? I've always been a bigger guy, but my personality has always been even bigger, right? So I got that going, and we call that command. When I first met my wife, I was always picking on her about it. It was command presence. Just fucking own it. Even if you don't know what the hell's going on, just own it. Like you guys getting up on stage, you got to have command presence because
you got to own it. Yeah, that's what I tell. You got to
own it. They'll eat you alive.
The audience will follow you. If you walk up there and you're tight, I always say the same thing every time I get on stage at Wise Guys. Hello, Wise Guys and Wise Gals. My name is Sadia. It's like naughty with an S. And so they know that I'm in the driver's seat and I know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
No matter what club I'm at. Hello, Mint. My name is Sadia. It's like naughty with an S. Hello. Just walk out with guns blazing, as it were. Walk out at level 12. Like, hey, everybody, here I am. Let's do this.
Yeah, because people in general, they smell weakness. Look at all the insecurity. Look at all the cowards on social media. They talk shit behind a keyboard.
Well, yeah. I say, I get to perform for you for 3 minutes. Now, some of the comics I see don't have my theater background. I've done a substantial amount of live theater, not quite like the Shakespeare nerds have done every play, but I've done live theater many times. And you learn how to kind of respect the stage. And I tell people, if you rehearsed enough, you shouldn't be nervous because you focus on this. If you're focusing out there, like, was I funny? Was I funny? Was I funny?
Nah, then you're never going to be funny.
Bruh, if you laugh or not, if you're too loud to hear me, I'll wait. But I got stuff to say. I'll watch the tape to see when you laughed. I got stuff to get through, man, and we're going to do this. It's going to be fun because I rehearsed it and I tried my jokes out on people. So one of my jokes, you might like this. So Nevada's all pro-gun, right? We're Second Amendment.
Yep.
So I did this thing where Sadia goes to the gun store. Nice. And I walk in by myself, and there's Cletus in the corner with his chaw and his Mountain Dew. And I roll up, and the guy behind the counter is like, oh, we have some nice, pretty mother of pearl, little pink guns for you. And I said, sir, I'm worried about the reverb on a small gun. Apparently it's called recoil, but that thing. And Cletus is laughing, saying, I don't know anything about guns. I go back to the guy, and I'm like, do you have anything in a 9-inch cock? And then the whole place starts laughing, and Cletus is like, I think you mean a 9mm Glock. And I flip around to Cletus, and I say, this here's a Merca, and I want to measure my firearms in inches. So why don't you put down your 2-liter Mountain Dew? I'm going to take my sweet little ass to 7-Eleven and get a 64-ounce Big Gulp.
I like that because I saw a meme the other day, and it was from Spider-Man. You know, Spider-Man looking at his girlfriend, and she's like looking back at the camera like he has no idea. And Spider-Man is saying, how come you guys can't get on with the, go along with the metric system? The little bubble, the little voice bubble. And then his girlfriend's little voice bubble is, man, he doesn't know I have a 9mm and an ounce of Coke in my, or not an ounce,
a gram.
God damn, I knew I was, or 5 grams. So he says he has no idea that I got a 9mm and 5 grams in my pocket. And I was like, oh shit, that's amazing.
That's a good joke.
Yeah, I like that one. But we got to shut this down.
We just got started.
I know, right? I know.
Oh, wait, we have to give a shout out. We have to do that. We forgot.
Forgot
Savage
what?
Unfiltered.
Who?
Savage Unfiltered.
I don't know who you're talking about. Fuck that dude.
You do.
Yeah, fuck that guy.
He sent me here.
I know that guy.
No,
he's an awesome dude. Shout out to Michael over there. I'll put a link in the show notes to that dude's. He's got a great show over there. So check that out for sure.
Okay, just want to make sure we got that in, but I will be quiet now if my time is up.
Nah, and I'll give you the mic for a second. Just let everybody know who you are. Best way to find you. I know you're not comfortable behind the mic, but you go ahead.
Hi, everybody. My name is Sadia Carone. S like Sam, A, D like David, I-A. Last name Carone, C-A-R like a car, O-N-E like the number 1. You can hear my dick songs on YouTube and Spotify, Sadia Music. My producer did the cover art, and he won a Grammy. So I said, thank you, sir. Don't judge. On Instagram, I'm also Sadia Music or Sadia Carone, where you can see my comedy. I'm a member of SAG-AFTRA. I had a pretty substantial but extra part in this new Netflix show called Obliterated that filmed here. I'm the drunk girl at the party. And hit me up if you're not crazy. Well, if you're the good kind of crazy, not the creepy kind of crazy, we can talk.
I like that. The good crazy. Yeah, we're all about that. That's for sure.
Yeah, but, no weirdos not marrying you for your green card. I don't want to sell your weed. No, it's all good, guys.
Wow, that's talking from experience there, right? She's shaking her head for you people only on audio.
Sorry. Yeah, yes. Yeah, not marrying you for a green card. I'm looking for a husband though, but not marrying you.
Dropping that. All right, we'll see you later. Hang tight.
You're awesome. Thank you.
Thanks for coming on. Well, if you know anybody that fits those criteria of a husband, get a hold of her because the links are in the show notes, and I bet you she would love to speak with you. All right, I'm going to get you out of here because I know you got shit to do, but don't forget High Speed Daddy and Liv Rishi. Links are in the show notes. Give them hell for me while you're over there. And I always sign off with a fun fact of the old New Jersey where I'm from. And today is, might not be fun, but it's quite interesting that the city of Newark, New Jersey, apparently in the whole United States, is the city where the most cars are stolen. So I'm going to leave you with that one. All right, man. Don't act cool. Be cool.